Hey, welcome, vlog number 19. Uh, just got back from another workout, second day in a row that I've put together a vlog. Like I said in the morning, started to do this just because I get my thoughts together, and yeah, I'll let them flow onto this video rant, so to speak. But as I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's vlog, I wanted to talk a little bit about the San Francisco City Council voted recently to ban Happy Meal toys being sold in Happy Meals as a way to market to kids. Um, they didn't ban it at any Burger King meals or Wendy's or other places, but they kind of mentioned that other toys would soon follow, so to speak. And um, yeah, I mean, what do you say to that? That's pretty extreme. And according to San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom, excuse my cat, he's got the morning crazies. According to Gavin Newsom, the mayor of San Francisco, he vetoed it, saying basically it's not the responsibility of the government to parent people's children. I mean, to make decisions on the choices of a parental unit, to make those choices to not buy the Happy Meal or not. And it's not the role of the government. And I find that interesting, considering he pushed the ban for plastic bags in the city of San Francisco, as well as single-serve water bottles in the city of San Francisco. So I think, honestly, this has more to do maybe with, if you ban plastic bags, you're only affecting a small sector of corporations. You just got to tell people, hey, you can't have plastic bags. You can't sell plastic bags. But with the power of the fast food industry in our country, I think he's tiptoeing, and I think he's actually doing a good thing of trying to veto this. Although the city council, I guess, overrides the veto because of the amount of votes it had. But this just brings me to just kind of a rant or a talk about basically how it's really not the government's responsibility or anybody's responsibility to quote unquote ban something in order to create a responsible citizenry, or the way you use it, or for people to be responsible and to have the ability to purchase products and to be responsible with them. The whole idea of banning plastic bags. Plastic bags, yeah, granted, they use petroleum, and when they are thrown away, they end up in landfills, and oftentimes they end up in the ocean, so on and so forth. Do I think they should be banned? No, I don't. I think what needs to happen is an informed citizenry, an informed public can learn how to recycle plastic bags. My grandmother's been doing it for years. I mean, I grew up in a house where we had the box where there was a plastic bag, one big plastic bag, and inside that plastic bag were other smaller plastic bags, and you'd reuse them for things around the house. And the things that you did not use, when you didn't use them, you took them back to the store, and there was actually a recycling program. That's as simple as it is, much like any other recycling program. I mean, things can be recycled, and the best way to educate the public is to not say, you can't have this, but actually to educate the public. I was down at a local watering hole the other night, and I came back, and Natalie told me a story of how an environmentalist group, might have been Greenpeace, I forget exactly who it was, but came up to the door, knocked on the door. Natalie came to the door. I said, we're trying to sign a petition to ban plastic bags in Long Beach. And Natalie refused to sign it. And this young person, probably in their, I think she told me like in her early 20s, kind of rolled her eyes and said, well, why not? In kind of like a snotty enviro-Nazi way, as they all are, the extreme environmentalists. Who are usually working for groups that are really anti-environmentalist. You can look that up. Sierra Nevada or the Sierra Club, Greenpeace. They're all linked to globalist Rockefeller foundations, globalist foundations who are actually not for saving the environment, but really for destroying the environment. That's a whole other subject. You can look that up whenever you have a chance. Look up like the population bomb. I Own It by Paul Elric. Eric, I think, H. Whatever. Besides the point, they came up, they talked to Natalie, said, hey, we want to sign a petition. Natalie refused. They kind of gave a snotty attitude like, well, why not? And Natalie said, it's not the responsibility of the government or local, state, federal government, whatever, to ban things. People should be educated of how to responsibly throw them away or dispose of them. And she kind of said, well, people aren't being responsible. That's why we need to ban them. See, and that's the mentality that needs to change. Think of it as, and I just came up with this analogy just the other day, but think about like, you have a child or a toddler, a baby, and you've got outlets, all around your house, and you usually will put in the outlet protectors when you have a child so they don't stick any forks or knives in them. But you teach them, you say, hey, don't touch this, much like a stove. You don't, when you have a child, you don't just dump your electricity and live by candlelight, because then if you live by candlelight, you'll have the kid trying to touch the fire, and then you'll say, hey, can't touch that. Instead of taking it away, you teach responsibility. You teach them how to respect that power. You tell them how to respect that entity. Basically, you don't just take it away and say, no, we're all going to live it without it, because a toddler is going to stick a knife in an outlet and will kill itself. So the same thing goes with fast food and Happy Meals. I mean, if parents aren't responsible enough to say, look, I have a 3-year-old child who is, 20 pounds overweight or 10 pounds overweight, and it's got rolls and it's all fat because you've been feeding it buckets of Coke and crap food from McDonald's. That's the only responsible, that's their responsibility. They choose those consequences, and to ban something is a way of the government being the quote unquote nanny state of taking care of us. The answer is never banning something. You don't ban music, you don't ban bad things, you don't ban guns, you teach responsible ways of using them. You teach people how to be responsible with that product, with that entity, with that power. And you don't censor things, because once you censor something, what's the next step? I mean, you could say, headphones. We're going to ban headphones because people are losing their hearing because they're listening too loud. Or we're going to ban, I don't know, pens because you might stab yourself in the eye. I mean, that's really how ridiculous this whole government banning things has become. And it's usually the environmental nanny state left who wants to ban everything. That's why you see California and San Francisco especially on the cutting edge of doing these really insane, passing these really insane laws where they're banning things. It's like if people can't, pretty soon they'll ban cars in San Francisco, which is actually one platform Jello Biafra ran on when he ran for mayor back in, I believe, the late 70s against Dianne Feinstein and Quentin Kopp. He said he wanted to ban cars and make people ride bikes and take public transportation and walk. I don't think banning cars in San Francisco is the answer, but I think it's almost a smart, logical answer. If you live in San Francisco, why do you need a car unless you're traveling to work or traveling somewhere else outside of San Francisco that BART doesn't take you or public transportation doesn't take you, or if you travel or whatever. But anyways, that's beside the point. The idea of banning things, not good. We need to teach responsibility rather than banning and taking away things. And we need to educate the public. I think a lot of this money and time that's spent on banning things should be going to public awareness. Teach people, how to run programs on TV. How do you recycle bags? Proper ways of disposing of bags. We learned about recycling in school. Why aren't we not learning? Why aren't we teaching adults? It seems like taking away the thing from the child is the logical idea, and it's not. I mean, according to the government and according to far out people who don't. Far left people who don't see banning things as a big giant hole for the government to just ban a bunch of other things that, it's called freedom of choice, people. And then you got to use common sense, and I know common sense, as Gil Scott Heron says, is an all-time low, and common sense isn't too common anymore. But we need to start teaching people how to be responsible citizens and human beings, and the sooner we do that, I think the better off we'll all be. So that's pretty much my rant on banning things, government. Hopefully, we won't see much more of this. I mean, but the more and more we get away from the Constitution, the idea of personal responsibility, by way of our government, by way of our society, by way of our education system, because we're not learning about being responsible adults. We're learning about Big Brother and Big Sisters and the TSA, Janet Napolitano taking care of us in order to protect us from ourselves. So that's it. Hope all is well. I'm going to go take a shower and head to work, and I hope everyone has a good day, and I will catch you on the flip side, as Rocco would say in Boondock Saints. All right, bye.